Now, having studied all the properties of rolling, let's see one very good example of rolling down an incline. Now, what is happening in this question is, suppose there is an incline with an angle theta and you roll down a particle or a sphere or a cylinder or a hoop, all of radius r and all of mass m. Now the question is which one will reach the horizontal ground fastest, what will be the acceleration in each case. So let's analyze this motion using by making free body diagram. You see, suppose this is my object which is rolling down this incline. So what are the forces acting on this object? One is the gravitational force, this is Fg, will be, what will be that? Mg, that is weight of the body. Another will be this normal reaction, Fn, and third will be this force of friction, depending whether there is slipping or not, or what is the motion that's in. So these are the only three forces acting. Now you see, since there is no motion in this axis, in this direction, that is direction perpendicular to the incline, this force, this Fn and this component of weight, that is Fg cos theta, they will balance out each other. That is, forces Fn and Fg cos theta merely balance, because there is no motion in this perpendicular direction. Now there is some motion in this direction and there is some torque also. Now torque, as we had seen earlier, we should always calculate torque about center of mass. So about center of mass, this Fn and this Fg will have no torque. Why? Because they pass through center of mass. So about center of mass, the only torque will be because of this force of friction. So this torque due to force of friction determines the angular acceleration around the center of mass. This COM is center of mass. And the force Fg sin theta, that is this component of weight, and this Fs, they determine the acceleration down the ramp. Okay, so these are the three analyses. Now you can say why and how I have taken force of friction acting in this way. Very good question. You see, whenever you have to find a direction of force of friction, what you do, you concentrate on this point of contact, this relative motion between these two surfaces here. So you see what is happening when this object is kept here, there is a tendency to fall down, there is a tendency to slide. Why? Because of gravity. So the whole body is sliding. So this point is also, there is a tendency to slide downward. When there is a tendency on this object to slide downward, what will be the direction of friction on this object? Upward. Got it? And this upward force of friction, that provides the required torque. So what is happening, that because of this gravity and friction, there is an acceleration down the incline. Since this force of friction will be acting in upward direction, there will be an angular acceleration alpha. And we have assumed that there is no slipping, that is, there is pure rolling. So that's why this ACM will be equal to R alpha. This is the condition for pure rolling. So this alpha, the torque for this alpha is being provided by this force of friction, and this A, the linear acceleration, is being provided by this Fg sin theta and this Fs. So this is the case. So now let's write the equation for motion. Let's write the equation of motion. So in this direction will be mg sin theta minus Fs is equal to m, A center of mass. Why? I have taken this as positive direction. So mg sin theta minus Fs will be this thing. The torque equation will be Fs into R, because this R and Fs are perpendicular. Fsr plus 0 I have written just to show that torque due to Fg and torque due to Fn both are 0. So this Fsr is equal to I center of mass into alpha. So these are the two equations. And these two equations, that is ACM and alpha, are connected by this condition of pure rolling. So when I use this alpha is equal to ACM by R and I put it in this equation, and Fs, then what will be Fs? I can multiply this whole, after this is just simple algebra. What I can do, I can multiply this whole thing by R, then I will get here also R, and I will get mg sin theta minus, and I put this MA center of mass, I bring it this side, then I will get Fs. Now what is Fs? So after this I can write this equation as Fsr is equal to I center of mass, A center of mass by R, because alpha is equal to ACM by R, I substitute this thing here, so I will get this thing MACM R is equal to ICM ACM by R. I will get ACM. Okay, this is nothing but simple algebra, because in this equation and in this equation I have got two equation and two unknowns. One unknown is Fs, another unknown is ACM. So I get the calculation ACM is equal to G sin theta by this thing. If I write my ICM is CMR square, this is a general formula for ICM, because for different values of C I will get value of moment of inertia for different object, like for a sphere or cylinder or hollow sphere, anything. So this is my formula for acceleration of center of mass, that is ACM is equal to G sin theta by 1 plus C. So now I am in a position to answer the question that out of those four objects, which object will be reaching the ground fastest. You see, what is my, this is the same calculation I have done. This is the formula for ACM is equal to G sin theta 1 plus C. For a particle, what is happening? C is 0, because this is just a particle, there is no R, there is no moment of inertia, so acceleration will be G sin theta. So this will be reaching fastest. Number 2 will be solid sphere, because this C is 2 by 5, so it will become ACM will be this thing. Number 3 will be solid cylinder, because this is the thing. And number 4 will be this circular hoop, which is having C is equal to 1, so it will be ACM is equal to half G sin theta. So it's very simple. What is happening? As my C increases, my acceleration due to center of mass decreases. By this formula I can see. I can give you a very simple physical explanation also why this will happen. You see, what is happening, that as your C is increasing, in this case what is happening, the whole mass M, you see, suppose you concentrate here, the whole mass is concentrated at one point. Okay, so I is effectively 0. In this case what is happening, your solid sphere, the whole mass is distributed from here to here, so I is 2 by 5 mr square. In this case it is 1 by 2 mr square. In this case what is happening, the whole mass of this circular hoop is concentrated at a fixed distance of r. So this is having the greatest I. So any body which is having the largest I, so what will happen? You see, torque is equal to I alpha. So for same acceleration, if a body is having the largest I, this body will require the largest amount of torque. Okay. Now in this question, which is the poor force which is providing the required torque? It is nothing but friction. So this friction will say, okay, you are a very big guy having very large I will provide you required torque. Okay, I will provide you torque, so I will increase myself, I will increase my magnitude. But what is the price it will have to pay? As this Fs increases, what this Fs is doing? This Fs is basically countering this force mg sin theta, because your acceleration is in this direction and this friction is in opposite direction. So for this large I, that is for this case, if the torque due to friction, if it has to provide the same alpha, and that alpha has to be same because this A is equal to alpha r, because we have assumed that there is no slipping. So for same amount of alpha, suppose alpha is same in all cases, for same amount of alpha, here the torque will be largest. Suppose this is tau 4, this is tau 3, this is tau 2, this is tau 1. Why this tau 4 will be largest? It will be largest because I4 is largest for a circular hoop. Now you require a very large torque. So who will provide this torque? Friction will provide the torque. So this friction will say, okay, you are making all the poor guy like me to do all the hard work. I will do the hard work, but you also better pay a price, that I will reduce your acceleration, linear acceleration. That's why for this thing, linear acceleration is smallest. So this is a simple reason. You should always argue, okay, this equation is correct, formula are correct, but you should also argue in physical terms that what is actually happening. In this thing, since everything is at distance r, I has increased. So since I has increased, I need a larger torque. Larger torque will come from larger friction. This larger friction will reduce this A because it is acting in opposite direction. So this is one thing. Now in this question, what is the value of force of friction? That is also a very interesting aspect. Let's see what is happening. That okay, this is the equation for Fs. I can substitute it here. I will get mg sin theta minus mscm is equal to mg sin theta by 1 plus mr square by icm. This is simple algebra. So I can write my Fs as mg sin theta by 1 plus this ICM is C mr square, so I will get 1 plus C inverse. So let's calculate what is the force of friction required. This Fs will be mg sin theta minus MACM, and this you can solve as mg sin theta by 1 plus mr square by ICM, so you will get mg sin theta by 1 plus 1 by C. So you can see if C has increased, this Fs has also increased, so this Fs will be largest for this thing. Now there is another point of discussion here also, actually how large your Fs can be. So suppose this the mu s, the coefficient of static friction is mu s, then this Fs has to be less than or equal to mu s time n. Now what is the n? N is Fs Fg cos theta, so this is mg cos theta. So this I can get an equation that mu s has to be greater than or equal to tan theta divided by 1 plus 1 by C. So this is the condition on mu s, that is the coefficient of static friction, if there has to be no slipping, because you see you require force of friction to avoid slipping. If your force of friction required exceeds this your upper limit, which is mu s time n, then obviously there will be some slipping. So to avoid mu s, your mu s should be greater than tan theta by 1 plus 1 by C. If your coefficient of static friction is less than this value, slipping will start. So this is one aspect. Another aspect is, suppose my body is fixed, that okay, this mu s is fixed. So if my mu s is fixed, how much angle I can tilt? This is also one thing. That is, my mu s is now fixed and this is force of friction. This has to be less than this thing. Then I have to see, I bring this cos theta this side, then it will become tan theta less than or equal to mu s times 1 plus 1 by C. So what is the theta max? Theta max will be tan inverse this whole thing mu s. So what is actually it is saying is that suppose you have got an incline. Now that whatever is the surface, that surface is fixed, so your mu s is fixed. Can it happen that you go on increasing this angle theta, that is you go on making it more vertical and more and more vertical, and even then your body does not slip? No, it will not happen. There is a particular angle for a fixed mu, that is for a fixed surface, there is a particular angle, say theta m, that is maximum theta. Up till this point you can have pure rolling, you can have rolling without slipping. But if you go beyond this theta m, then your slipping will start. Now you say this is the mathematical reason, because I have proved it mathematically using this, that tan theta is less than this thing, so theta max is this thing. And there is a very simple physical reason for this also. You see, as you go on lifting your incline more and more vertical, what is happening? That this mg sin theta force, this force which was acting down the incline, it is going on increasing. So your this body, it is experiencing a greater and greater force which is pulling it down. That is, it is experiencing a greater force which is causing it to have greater linear acceleration. Got it? Now, if you have to have that condition of, say what is happening is that as I am increasing this, as I am increasing this angle theta, this mg sin theta is increasing. So my this body is experiencing a greater force. Since it is experiencing a greater force, it will have a greater linear acceleration. Now to satisfy this condition for pure rolling, now since pure rolling, since you have got ACM is your increasing, that is your acceleration is increasing, then your alpha has also to increase, because ACM is equal to R alpha. Now to have a greater alpha, you will need a greater f. Now there is a limit to your f, because your f cannot increase beyond a value called mu s times n. So that's why after a certain angle, you have increased, suppose your angle much beyond a particular angle, then your linear acceleration, this mg sine theta term, has started dominating. It has caused a much greater acceleration, and your alpha is not able to keep pace with this a. Why your alpha is not able to keep pace? The only thing which is causing this alpha is fs, and there is a limit to this fs. This fs will say that okay, now I am fed up, I am not going to increase this alpha any further, my limit, I have exhausted my limit, you better start slipping now, I am not going to stop you from slipping, because your a has increased beyond a point. This a depends upon mg sine theta and minus fs. So obviously this will increase, but ultimately what will happen, this mg sine theta will start dominating. So there is a theta max also, and if you go beyond this theta max, you will start getting slipping. So this problem I have solved using Newton's law. This is what is all, F is equal to ma everywhere. This is Newton's law. The same problem I can solve using energy method also.